Dear Mr. President, President Vela, President Mehta, President Mesic, speakers of parliament, all of you that are present here today, dear respected organizers, Mr. Abdulaziz Saud Al-Babtain, dear participants of the World Forum for Culture and Peace, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here today in the beautiful Valletta, and I thank you all for choosing peace as a uniting force. Because peace indeed is what brings people together. I am honored to have the opportunity to speak to you here today and to represent a peace-loving nation, the people of the Republic of Kosovo, at this forum. Peace, respected participants, is something that my people hold dearly because we know the direct opposite of it. We understand that absolute devastation that comes when there is absence of peace. We understand and cherish freedoms and democracy, but above all, the people of Kosovo respect human values and human rights. Every single person on this planet not only deserves, but has the absolute right to peace. And I believe there is much more as world leaders, but also as individuals, that we can do to contribute to it through listening to one another and through dialogue. To quote the former First Lady, diplomat and activist Eleanor Roosevelt, it isn't enough to talk about peace. One must believe in it. And it isn't enough to believe in it. One must work on it. We must work on it because peace and security are an essential factor of human life. A peaceful and secure environment is critical to every society since it affects all aspects of economic and social development in a country. With that in mind, it would be remiss of me to stand here today talking about peace when it is being violated in such a flagrant manner as we speak. The European continent is in a state of emergency. As we gather here today to discuss leadership for just peace, the people of Ukraine are facing aggression, terror, and serious violations of their human rights. Once more, after almost 80 years since the end of World War II, and 23 years after the end of war in Kosovo, Europe is being shaken by what we promised to never happen again. But dear friends, what is happening right now in Ukraine and in many parts around the world will not merely stop from happening, nor will what happened in the past ever stop from repeating itself, as long as a language and a practice of appeasement towards dictators is invoked. In situations like these, remaining silent or choosing to stay silent makes one an accomplice. Because in the face of injustice, in the face of war crimes and crimes against humanity, we have to raise our collective voice for humanity and for justice and peace. As Ukraine faces an unprovoked war and as the rest of the world witnesses it, as it unfolds in front of our eyes, we can't stop but wonder, what is indeed the role of world leaders? While to many this might sound like a grand rhetoric, the answer to it might actually determine the fate of our societies and the fate of the history of our days. During these dark hours for our continent, we must be reminded of an essential truth. If peace in Ukraine does not prevail, global peace risks failure as well. And if world leaders fail to unite and stand up to aggression and hegemonic appetites of modern-day autocrats, it is democracy that might fail next. It is great to see that in these moments, the democratic world is more united than ever. Clear language, the language of truth, compassion, and support for each other, as well as actions that are aligned with that language, are the best tools we have to defy the forces standing on the other side. The only way we can preserve peace is through understanding and communication. While it might seem challenging or even impossible at times, it is our best chance to thrive. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Despite the immense progress that we have made as a country, and indeed as a continent, today we are all reminded that threats to peace and security are constant and active. And while I am delighted to look back at Kosovo's progress with pride and remain overwhelmingly optimistic for our future as a sovereign and independent nation, I have to mention that flagrant assaults on sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine by Russia has rightly shocked the world, as it has indeed shocked our part of the world. It has shocked us because it shows that the battle between democracy and hegemony that is playing out is in fact about so much more than just one country and an aggressive neighbor. It is ultimately and utterly about clash between values. An active attack on the values standing firm at the foundations of our continent and the Union. However, what these darkest moments also teach us is the need to stand together and the value of humanity, peace, and of democratic freedoms. When our way of peaceful life is being threatened in such a deliberate manner, we must work together for a brighter and more peaceful future. At these difficult times for humanity, let's all pledge to be the voice of innocent people that are facing aggression, who are being attacked by aggressors that know no limit to their hegemony. Let's unite our voices so that collectively we can be heard when we say that peace and democracy shall once again prevail. They have prevailed in Kosovo back in 1999, and they will prevail in Ukraine and elsewhere in the world now in 2022. And while we jointly fight Russian propaganda, let us not forget that coordination and communication, without a doubt, is the core pillar to that brighter, more prosperous and peaceful future. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a moment to say that this is our chance to demonstrate to our children and to future generations that a world where culture unites people and it crosses over divisions, a world where countries' rights, no matter how big or small they are protected, and a world where peace, just peace, thrives is indeed a possible world. With the ever-increasing disinformation trends, fake news, and the phenomenon of trolls, we are constantly being exposed to different realities. Fake realities, realities that are customized to trigger emotional, impulsive, and at times non-rational reactions. It is the immense power of disinformation and the fake news that is threatening democracies and shattering factual-based realities. But for this as well, there is a cure and there is a sustainable solution. The answer to this is simple. We need to use our voices, our collective voices. We need to use social media precisely with the purpose of unmasking this negative reality. We need to work hard to make sure social media works to our benefit, to the benefit of truth, instead of the opposite. We need to put social media at the service of peace. And in the face of these developments, world leaders cannot stand still. They must not stand still. It is our moral and constitutional obligation to make sure that the suffering and the losses of our citizens are put to an end, and equally so, to fight injustice and inequality across all areas of life. It is our ultimate responsibility to speak out the words of truth and to call things what they truly are. And as we strive to do that, let's make sure that we pass a clear message to our people, our countries, and the world. Let's make sure to commit and to always choose peace first. Ladies and gentlemen, today's world events are precisely why we need to cherish peace and work towards it. Because the opposite is death and destruction. The people of Kosovo have known the opposite of peace for way too long. And now they know very well the pains and sufferings that the opposite of peace and democracy cause, which is why I am so proud to represent such a peace-loving nation that has worked for peace for its entire history. For that reason, our commitment and active engagement for peace, security, and stability in our region, the Western Balkans, but also beyond, is more than just a job. It is a sacred duty that we owe to future generations, so that they never have to go through what we had to go through. Peace is harmony, and harmony is solidarity. It is freedom. That they are so connected to one another. Peace is unity and a joint commitment to make the slogan "never again" a reality and not just words. But long-term peace is only possible when there is justice. And long-term peace is always possible when women are also included at the table of peace and dialogue. Let us work together to make it possible. Let us join forces and voices to show true leadership during these devastating times, so that a brighter, better, and more peaceful future awaits us all. And as we stand here today, and once we go back to our respective country, let's make sure that we always keep a listening heart, an open mind, and commit to preserving and nurturing constantly the will to engage for the greater good. Thank you all.